Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Who is in your Premier League 2020/21 team of the season? That's what I'm asking Luke from West Ham United today. Luke, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. How are you yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for coming on. Indeed. But I mean, somewhat West
Pleasure.
Ham season for us. I mean, in past years, it wouldn't be such a happy thing to do, but you could repeat it on and on and on because it's just it's just been fantastic.
I must admit, I've watched the David Cross video yesterday. I've watched a little bit over the last couple of days, and talking about his experiences and stuff like that. It makes you realise how good our season just gone has been. And I was at work today. I was just sort of like reminiscing about the games and the goals we've scored and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, as a whole, I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock at the fact we've got Europe. We haven't got to go for any qualifying rounds. We're straight into the group stage. We're going to be having at least a guaranteed 6 games in Europe, no matter what. Or I don't know, unless the group stage has changed from the Europa League now, but as far as I know, it's still 4 teams in the group. But overall, I've been in dreamland. I think for the majority of it. The first 2 games were obviously, the first game against Newcastle was naff. The second game you saw an improvement, but we still lost. But after that, it's all just been a bit of a blur. And I've just been riding a roller coaster. And who'd have thought David Moyes coming back would be the answer to our prayers for a good season, a much more improved season than the previous one. So yeah, I've just enjoyed it, mate. It's been a brilliant season.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. And we had the start of the season wasn't great. We picked up Dawson came into side December and we're thinking, oh, we could get used to this. We could be in with a chance of European football. January came, February we beat Spurs. We were like, here we go. And then, we tailed off a little bit, but then we still managed to just about hold on at the end. West Ham tried their very hardest to bottle it, but we just about held on at the end to get Europa League.
Yeah, we did. To be fair, that was we had a few ups and downs like West Ham always do, but I think over the course of the season, it was. It comes a point where you sort of go, we need to win this game, but it's West Ham. We're not going to win this game. And we won that game, and then there'd be another game, and we go, oh, we've got to win this one, but we probably won't do because we're West Ham. And then we win that game, and we're like, oh, we'll stop there a minute. And after a while, you're going like, okay, something's going on here. This is going a bit too well. And after a while, you sort of start to go like, well, I want us to win this game, but I won't be too unhappy if we don't because we've still had, such a great season and we were still winning. And okay, we did tail off. We did lose the games and the points that we needed to finish in the top 4. But I think overall, when you consider what the type of club West Ham are, we're not. When we start the season, we don't go right. We've got to finish in Europe. Right, we don't. No matter how much I want to say we need to keep hold of players like Rice and Souček and etc. You don't look at our team and you go, yeah, the minimum expectation, especially with David Moyes after finishing relegation battle, is to finish in Europe. No, not at all. Most fans have been very happy with 10th, considering where we finish. Just to grow. But games by games, we just turned up, and it's the small margins, mate. It's a small margin in football that cost you in the end, and a few draws here that could have been a result. The Fulham game and the Arsenal game. That's you look back and they cost you, unfortunately. But I'm gutted we didn't get Europe at the Champions League, but I'm more than happy with Europa League. So bring it on, I say.
Yeah, I agree. I just look at that Arsenal game and think if we wouldn't have been such West Ham, if we would have just held it out for that last 10 minutes, we would have got Champions League football. But I think we can't sit here and go, turn our noses up at that because we've still got Europa League football. But anyway, let's get into your team of the season. Then we will start in goal. Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Allison for Liverpool, mainly because I think there's a number of reasons. First of all, I think he's genuinely one of the best keepers in the league, if not the best. And I think when they won the league, Liverpool, everyone laughed at Liverpool for buying him from Roma after they beat them 6-0 or something in the Champions League, and then he come over and everyone went, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." To be fair, he is decent, and I think he's had to deal with makeshift defence in front of him, and yeah, okay, Liverpool haven't won the league this year, but they've got Champions League as far as I think I remember how it all ended. It's also for him scoring the goal because not many keepers in the league score goals, and for him to score a goal the way he did
Oh, no.
in that game, which was an important game. They needed the win, and he got it for them. And not only that, I don't really look at any other goalkeepers. And I know a lot of people talk about Martinez for Aston Villa, and I think he's a good goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a good goalkeeper, but I don't think he's as good as people say he is. I think when you think things like when Lingard made his debut for West Ham and scored those 2 goals, he could have done so much better for those goals. I'm pleased he didn't. I'm pleased Lingard scored, but I sort of look at it, I go, well, I'm not. Edison's okay, I think he's a great goalkeeper, but he's not, for me, he's not probably the best goalkeeper in the league. I think it's just, he's lost his dad this year as well, and that was an emotional thing. It's just little things like this. Most of my team is going to be what they've dealt with. And, like almost like an improvement team, if you know what I mean. They've improved on themselves. They've improved what everyone thought they were going to be. So Allison's in there, mainly for the goal he scored as well. But I think generally, the way that Liverpool's defence has been this year, and he's still been one of the best keepers in the league. So for me, it's going to be Allison.
Yeah, yeah, and you go through. You said there the emotional whirlwind that he's had to go through. Losing his dad this year as well. Absolutely fantastic keeper. Yeah, Allison and Martinez seem to be the 2 that keep coming up, popping up in these sides regularly, and rightly so for both of them because they've both been fantastic. Especially Allison in the second half of the season helped Liverpool somehow sneak into that Champions League spot. Not even the 4th, they got 3rd. I still don't know how they got in there.
Yeah, but they crept up on us, didn't they, in the end?
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
They did. But we'll move into your back 4 then. We'll start at right back. Who have you gone for?
Good old Vladimir Coufal. Do you know what? I was really pleased to see him in Jamie Carragher's team of the season. I think that was class from him, actually, to recognise him. It's the fact that he only cost 5 million. It's the fact that he didn't come in straight from the start of the season. He came in mainly because Fredericks was injured. We went, shit, we need a right back. And he come in and he hit the ground running. He's the hardest working player in the team. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's the perfect West Ham right back. He is literally, you look back on the right backs we've had over the years, he is the perfect West Ham. If you asked any West Ham fan, especially traditional West Ham fan, what do you want in a fullback? Coufal is just bish bash bosh. He's the man. The only thing missing from his repertoire has been a goal. I think he deserved a goal this season, but he hasn't got one. But he's had a fair few assists, I believe, throughout the season. He's just come in and he's taken the Premier League by storm. And I think for someone of his age as well, 28. He's had a fair few years, in the Eastern European League with Slavia Prague. He's maybe played a few Champions League games there. But as far as I know as well, he wasn't the first choice right back at Slavia Prague. I could be wrong there, but I don't think he was first choice. I think he was sort of like, almost like a bit of a Fredericks, like, just sort of he'd come on if the other right back's injured. I don't know, but if anyone's in the comments or looking can correct me, then please do. But just the fact that the impact he's had and for how much he cost. Absolute bargain, the biggest bargain of the season by far, and he deserves it. He's a fantastic player, so yeah, Coufal for me. Do we move on to centre backs?
Carry on, go on, carry on.
Yeah. Next is Diaz for Man City. I think he's been absolutely class. I think he's one of the reasons why they've won the league in the way they have this year. He's Champions League final. They lost 1-0, but the choice with a better team. But he could have been a Champions League winner as well. Potentially, he's come in, and a lot of people slagging off John Stones for saying he's not Man City class centre back. He's a terrible defender, this, that, and the other. And he's come in and he's made him look world class. He's helped him to reach potential. Everyone's going, "Oh, these two are the best centre back partnership in the league this year," and that's a lot of that is down to him. And he's given Stones confidence, and that can only bode well for the Euros as well for England. But I think he's just come in. The pressure of when someone comes in for a team like Man City where they want to win things, and sometimes it's like they buy players, they don't really live up to expectation. But this guy's come in, and from the word go, he's been one of the better players. He scored goals. He scored against us, unfortunately, when we went over to Man City. And he's just been a great player. He's been a stalwart. And when you look at all the other players in the league, centre back wise, there's been a lot of good players. Maybe like Rudiger for Chelsea's been pretty good as well. But for me, for the money he's come in, and he's made John Stones back into, in many people's eyes, a starter for England again. A deserved starter for England again. It makes perfect sense to me to have Diaz. Yeah. then his partner would be Söyüncü. And given the fact that they've won the FA Cup, this year, and he's had big shoes to fill when they sold Maguire. He's just carried on. He's been, as far as I know, he's a fan favourite at Leicester City. So he's one of the the fans' favourite players, and that says a lot about a player when the fans certainly love him. I think when he's played West Ham, he's been a fantastic player for us to play against. He's always been someone who's dangerous in the box, and he's really taken that mantle from Maguire. And Leicester have got that kind of that structure where if a player goes, they replace him with someone just as good, if not better. And for me, he's been one of the best centre backs in the Premier League so far since he's come into Leicester. And I don't think he cost the world either. I think he was a bit of a suffel, just pay a bit of money for him, and he's been a decent player. So I don't know how you feel about him. I mean, I know you watch a lot of football yourself, and I'm sure you'll agree he's one of the better players for defenders out there.
Yeah, I think, they've had a really, really good 3 centre-backs this season for Foden, Johnny Evans and Söyüncü. There is a reason why there's loads of accents and things above them, because I went, Luke put this in Geezer aside, and I thought, oh God, how do you spell his first name? How do you spell his last name? So I just went on to Google and copy and pasted it in, and that's what it's come out like.
That's his name.
That's his name.
That's how you spell his name. Simple as that,
Yeah, but absolutely fantastic player, and Leicester dropped out in the end, but they did drop out of Champions League football, but they have done all right this season. Who's your left back then, Luke?
Left back is Ben Chilwell. I think for me, he's one of the best left backs in the league. There's a reason why Chelsea bought him from Leicester. Just won the Champions League. He's going to be, he went in the England squad, didn't he? He's been picked in the England squad. He must have done. I can't remember now.
Yes,
of course he has. Just won the Champions League. For me, he's gonna be the closest thing to Ashley Cole that Chelsea had and that England had. I think it's his technical ability. I think he's just the way he crosses the ball. If you remember when we signed Creswell, the first year we had Creswell, the dipping volleys, the dipping crosses that he used to put in for Andy Carroll, etc. He's got that in his locker, and I look at him, and I think when he played for Leicester, I thought, with respect to Leicester, he looks too good for them. He looks like he's calm's personified. He's up and down that wing. His delivery's perfect. I think he's even scored a few goals this year as well. Maybe not. And for me, he's you had Andy Robertson the year that Liverpool won the league and stuff like that, and Robertson. For me, he's had injury problems and stuff like that, but he's taken over that Andy Robinson, manager that he is now. Apart from it, I think it's him and Luke Shaw, but I think because Chilwell's won the Champions League now, he's got a trophy behind him to prove what a good season he's had. Him and Shaw are the top 2 left backs in the league, and for me, Chilwell just edges it. It's going to be maybe an unpopular opinion, but for me, Chilwell's been one of the better left backs in the league this year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that this is probably the first or second time this player's come up, and I thought this player should be in Team of the Seasons. Every other one. I think this player's been fantastic. 3 goals, 5 assists this season, which ain't bad from a left back. That's for sure. Defensive abilities are fantastic, and probably one of the best left backs, as you said, in the Premier League for me. I really, really rate this lad. But that's a pretty decent back 4. Then we'll move into your midfield. Who's the first of your 2 central midfielders? We'll start with them.
Well, first of all, Kante. Which I can't think many people would be surprised about. He's flavour of the month at the minute, and he's well deserved. He's since he's come in from Leicester, he's been a fantastic player. I think he had a little bit of an off form when Lampard come in and managed Chelsea, and I think he was a little bit like he wasn't getting the rave reviews. He wasn't really playing as well. And then since Tuchel's come in, his form's boomed back up. And people are realising again just how good the guy is. And for me, I think when we talk about Declan Rice and Souček, that partnership being one of the best in the league, he's like Declan Rice and Souček in one player. And possibly it's one of them things where you kind of go, you don't really need a midfield. you just have him cleaning up, and you have wingers and forwards just going booming on, just passing the ball. His engine is absolutely ridiculous. The only thing he lacks is scoring goals. But then when you do when you do everything that he does, you don't need to score goals. So Kante for me, absolutely, just won the Champions League. So he's good to go to the World Cup this year, and he's probably might even win the Euros. So Kante for me.
Yeah, this lad's winning a lot of trophies, and very, very well deserved, because he's just a fantastic player in the midfield. As you said, mops everything up and just completely bosses the midfield. World class player. But who's gonna possibly play a bit more up pitch from him? Who have you gone for as your second central midfielder?
I've gone for the man himself, Jesse Lingard. I think everyone written him off as one of these guys, especially I did as well. I wasn't I know when everyone he was linked with us sort of laughed and I thought, well, typical Moyes being a former Man United manager, going to get that link. And when it's like going to be happening, I was like, I'm not too sure about it, but I'm not against it. So, and everyone's like, oh, don't want him. He's not about the football. And I think everyone had this impression that he's got his business in the side, and he's not interested in football anymore. Him and Pogba used to be the clowns at Man United. They weren't really that interested in football and stuff like that, and their form completely dropped. And then you found out about what he's actually been dealing with outside of football. And all these posts on Facebook and Twitter that were, taking mick out of him with no goals, no assists, and all this sort of stuff. He quickly realised within the first game, this kid is still top class, and his first touch, his movement, his goals, everything about him, you were like, wow, what have Man United had here that they've let go, because he is absolute fire, and. Quickly shut everyone up. He proved to everyone that he is still just as good as he's always been. For us, loads of people said that Moyes didn't buy a striker but should have done. Well, for me, he was the striker. He scored more goals than most strikers you bring in on loan do. Look at what Fulham did with Major and Everton with Josh King. They couldn't. You laugh at their numbers compared to what Jesse Lingard has produced, and I think he's just proved to everyone he's very, very unlucky not to get into the England squad. But I think there's certain reasons for that. And funnily enough, I watched you, Stel, and Anton earlier doing the England video, and I did write a little comment to Stel. I find myself disagreeing with Stel all the time these days, and it's not nice. I get on with myself really well. He's a really good bloke, but I just find myself screaming at the screen going, Still, what are you talking about? But maybe that's on me. Maybe that's me losing my temper too much. But he's just been fantastic, and he's one of the main reasons. He's not the reason, but he's one of the big reasons why we finished the way we did. And he's just proved to everyone that he's still just as good as he was when he was on top form for Man United.
Yeah. I think we all disagree with Stella at times, and definitely my disagreement with Stella was on Craig Dawson for me. But everyone's got their opinions. He hates Craig Dawson. I love him. But there we go. Yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh leaving him out of the England squad. To be completely honest with me, these were the 7 players that were left out. I don't know. That is the story for the video I put up earlier on today from when filming this. So that's why I've got that fancy graphic there. I'm
going to be honest with you, right? I watched that video, and I said, why hasn't he picked this player? Why hasn't he picked that player? I'm thinking, I'm a big fan of Southgate from the World Cup. I think we had a fantastic World Cup, and everyone's going, oh, we lost to Croatia, but to get there and the way we done it, and then everyone going, oh, we met the first decent team we meet. We go out. We didn't crash out. We lost 2-1. We were brilliant up until that point as well, and we were lucky to go out, in my opinion. He's changed the demographic of England. No longer we look at the golden generation now. We look at young players coming through, and the thing about it is people got to realise as well. Much like Moyes in the training field when he picks a team before a game, right? Southgate's looking at these players, look at these boys, are going, so-and-so hasn't ever really been to a tournament before. So-and-so hasn't been in this pressured environment. So-and-so hasn't done this, And I know earlier that Stel was saying that Lingard wasn't picked because he plays for West Ham. Well, Mings got picked and he plays for Villa. Cody got picked and he plays for Wolves. So him playing for West Ham's got nothing to do with it. I think a lot of the times it's down to, it's not just the way a player plays for his club. There's a difference between club football and international football. And sometimes you get a player who can be, fantastic for his club football, turn up at the doors of England training, and you just see the way their mind works. They might be really shy. They might be like really nervous. You can tell, like going, "Oh, you ready for this World Cup then?" Yeah. Their mindset there. So you might go, right, he's not ready. I can take him, but he might let us down if he comes to it. It's little things like that work in managers' head, and it's not always just down to how you play for World Cup. There's been players that have played brilliantly for their clubs. They've gone to the Euros, gone to the World Cups, not done very well. It's happened. That's football. So I can still watches this now, mate. I will do a video one-on-one with you. We'll have a little chat, and everyone can watch the Nines United. We can have a little gamble, little debate. I know you'll have a bit of that. So, but that's just my 2 pennies worth anyway on that. I'm looking forward to the Euros anyway.
Yeah, so am I. I'll clip that and I'll make sure he sees that.
Why not? I'm not scared.
Yeah. Oh God. Maybe you in a couple of months' time you'd have to do that in person.
You never know. Yeah, as long as he buys the rum, and that's fine by me. To be fair.
We'll move on to the flanks then, out in the wide areas. Now, these are 2 young, fantastic players that are up and coming for England and their clubs as well. But we'll start on the left-hand side. Who have you gone for as your left midfielder?
Mine would be. I'm trying to think. It was one of it. There's 2 wingers. Basically, one's Mason Mount. I'll go for him first before I say the other one. Yeah. Mason Mount's first. Just won the Champions League with Chelsea, and he's been an absolute informed player. Especially, I think he was good under Lampard. He was very good under Lampard. But I think he's reached another level now under Tuchel, and he's now got to the point almost where he's a bit like Declan Rice for us. He's like one of their major players, and if he gets dropped or gets injured or gets suspended, they've got to look round to go, right, okay, they got the players to replace him. Obviously, Pulisic might take over, he'd be just as good. But Mount's coming through now, and you think he's had a couple of loan spells in the Championship, and now he's reaching that point where he's almost pivotal. And this Euros now is going to prove just how good he is. And for me, since Tuchel's come in, Tuchel has changed a lot of players in that Chelsea team. They're now reaching levels that they should have done under Lampard, but they're now reaching under him. And Mount's one of those, and scoring brilliant goals in the Champions League. And he's got Chelsea into the into position there. In my opinion, one of the major reasons. Just like Kante, he's just been as important. Got the assist in the Champions League as well. I just think he's been a fantastic player, and he's proving to people that he's a Premier League player, and he's not just some guy who keeps getting loaned out in the Championship. So fair play to him. It's a great player. So Mason Mount, that one.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Sort of now, almost Mason Mount, because of Declan Rice of West Ham. A very, very good analysis there. But the right hand side then, interchangeable. But who have you gone for?
Philip Foden. His technical ability is unbelievable. Premier League wise, he's just been an absolute rocket. I think he's going to be England's Messi in the next few years. The way he plays, same low centre of gravity, technical ability, everything about him. Industry, sort of brilliant goal against Brighton. I think it was the other week, was it, or something like that?
Yeah.
The only downside was for me, he had a test against Chelsea. Shouldn't have been played where he was. I don't think that was a good, very tactical decision from Pep Guardiola to play him almost like a striker on the night. But he's going to be a very, very good player, and he proved that this season for Man City. Guardiola kept saying the only way he's going to get in this team is to outperform the players that are ahead of him, and he's been doing that, and he's done that, and now he's one of the first team players on the Man City team sheet. And look at the players they've got around him. Aguero couldn't even get in this year because he's just dropping form, and he's still a threat in front of goal. So for me, Phil Foden, he's a star for the future and now, and I think he's been fantastic for Man City this year, and one of the reasons why they won the league.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely fantastic player. Right then, so there's your defence and your attack done then. We will move on to your last 2 strikers. Your last 2 players even. Who's your strike force? We'll start with the first one. Who's the first of your 2 strikers then?
First one's got to be Patrick Bamford, actually. It might be a bit of a left field decision, but for me, when he come up with Leeds, everyone thought, oh, he's a Championship striker. He won't be able to make it at the Premier League. A lot of pundits said that as well. And I think over the season, Bielsa's managed to make him, in that team with the players around him. He misses a few chances here and there. There's no doubt about that. He's not the best striker in the league, but he's definitely proved to a lot of people, including myself, he is good enough to be a Premier League striker. He's very potent in front of goal, very competent. He's not out of his depth at all. Strength wise, he's a good player, and he's proven to many people, and has been proven to many people this year, that he's good enough to be, a standard Premier League striker. And for Leeds, he's got loads of goals for him. He's one of their main attacking threats. And from a guy who I think was unlucky, I think, playing for Norwich and stuff like that in the Championship, he's turned his form around and gone. Not only am I a good Championship striker, or here and there, I've come to the Premier League and I'm doing it, and I'm scoring the goals that Leeds need to not only stay in the Premier League but finish quite high up as well. So, he's if he carries on, it could be an England regular as well. So, I think he's done really well to be the striker he has this season.
Yeah. Someone asked me a couple of weeks ago, they put him in his side, and how many goals has he scored? No, look, he scored 17 goals this season. I didn't think he'd scored that many goals, and I thought, I sat back and went, wow, he's sort of gone under the radar a lot this season, Patrick Bamford, but he's still banging in the goals for Leeds week after week. Definitely well deserved to be in that side. But who's your final player then? A bit of a beast, but who is your final player to go into your team then?
Well, I was going to do a drum roll, but as you said, beast, I think most people probably work it out now. It's our own Antonio. He's not only was he the main reason why we stayed up last year with his goals, he's the main reason why we're where we finished. He's been injured a few times. I completely written him off after the Wolves game. I thought, no, your hamstring is gone, mate, unfortunately. And I was really gutted about it. I was thinking, he comes back, then plays for a couple of games, then gets injured. He comes back, plays for a couple of games. It was like a roundabout, thinking, I think he's finished. I think it's been too much for him this year. I think he's done. Really, and I'm really happy I've been proved wrong. And he's the way David Cross was talking about him, my dad talks about him in the same way. It's almost like, a dream player. I've been saying it for ages, is that his work rate is unmatched. I don't think you'll find any player in the league with his stature that works as hard as he does from where he plays. And for someone who most people, when they're in front of goal, go, is this shoot? And blast it into Rosette. He's become a mainstay for us. If Antonio don't play, we've got to go, right, midfielder's got to go there, someone's got to go there, what's going to happen now? Who's going to go in there? So we start panicking a little bit, and we've done pretty well without it, don't be wrong, I'm not saying we haven't, but he's made himself into one of the biggest threats in the Premier League. And for a player to do that, who wasn't even a striker, wasn't brought in as a striker, Moyes has done another out of it. He's moved a midfielder or a winger into a striker, and he's not only carried on his form from last season, he's improved on it. And for me, he's going to be dynamite in the Europa League. And as long as he stays fit, fingers crossed he does, touch wood, he's going to be possibly 5 goals more than he scored last year at least. And I think he's a lot of people this year, I think a lot of pundits were saying how well he's done, and it's not just he's just saved the club from relegation. He's got a club into Europe with his goals, so I think he deserves all the plaudits he can get. So he's brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. Really influential in West Ham's team. Right then, so this is probably going to be the funniest part of the episode now, because it's time for the advert. Now, it's not a one football advert. It's probably not going to be as legendary as Stell's advert. But this video is sponsored by the Blowing Bubbles magazine. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this with a straight face. Now, you can't even see my face. But this video is sponsored by the Blowing Bubbles magazine. You can check out their link in the description down below. And if you use the discount code, where is it? There it is, Jake Cox at checkout. When you buy a 11 magazine subscription, you can get £5 off. So if you do that, that would massively help the channel out, and it would be greatly appreciated. So find all the information in the description down below. And was that any better than Luke's? Was that any better than Stell's, Luke?
No one can beat Stell's. With all due respect to you, it was the most legendary. Every time you watch it, it actually gets funnier. It's brilliant. But bless him, bless old Stell. You know, he's a grumpy old man now. He does his moan about certain players, and he got, can't do an advert properly. But he'll get there. I'm sure he'll get there. His West Ham Weekly gets a lot of views, doesn't it? So I suppose people feel sorry for him when they watch him. But he's a good old boy. But well done, mate. We're blowing bubbles. Well done for that. And hopefully they get some more stuff for you. But it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, some people would say other videos get more than the West Ham Weekly, but I'm sure Stell would say it's probably the best show on West Ham United. But anyway, right. So I forgot to tell you about this before.
So come on, you're doing it still now.
I know. I know. Who is your manager of the season? Not hard. Come on.
The one and only David Moyes. He'd be so unlucky not to get that. I know Guardiola won it, and it was obvious Guardiola was going to win it because of the bias towards it. But from someone who everyone writ off as being has been couldn't manage at the top level. He's Sunderland. He was a complete useless. Went to Sociedad, was a clown, was laughed at. To come back, save us again, and now gets into Europe with I don't care what anyone says, with no money. He's spent pittance, the most 50 million. Now, most clubs who reach Europe, they spend way more than that. So for him to do what he does with bringing in championship players like Bowen and Benrahma as well, I think he's God right now. To me, he is God. The man can do no wrong. Look, there was rumours going around last week, right, that we were linked with Benteke, because Benteke put on Instagram that he was training with the cross downers emoji, and everyone was going, "Oh my god, we're going to sign Benteke." Now, before Moyes turned up, I've tweeted this as well. I'd have gone, Benteke, next level. This is typical of the owners. Nice, cheap, yeah, free contract, yeah, in you come, yeah, boom, big old target man, crap football, stuff like that. But now Moyes has come in. I'm going, he could do a job for us, actually. It could be the new Antonio. He could be the hold-up man. He could change him into, the top striker now. It's completely changed my demographic of thinking. So that is what he's done. So not only me, other fans, probably the players as well. And I think that now he's going to be thought of very high. Now we're going to have to find it hard to keep him, because there'll be so many top clubs that are going to look at him next season and go, right, well, depending on what we'll do in Europe and stuff like that, he's going to be a marked man. So we need to sign that contract, give him what he wants, and he'll bring a good time to West Ham, I'm sure. But I think he deserves every medal, plaudit, chocolate bar, you name it, cookie, whatever it takes. Just give it to him, praise him. Get a little mini statue outside Sports Club if we need to, but there's got to be plaudits for him, because he deserves it, and all credit to him. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's back with staff as well.
Yeah, you said a various amount of things there. I mean, you're probably best off asking Anton what's the best thing they have up in Scotland. Probably haggis. Give him some haggis or whatever.
Bless him. He was still getting right up the name.
They have a pop at each other. But there we go. Let's review this side then. So here is Luke's team. Allison in goal, back four of Chilwell, Diaz, Söyüncü, and Vladimir Coufal.
Champions League, that wins everything. Just because Lingard, Coufal, and Antonio were in it.
There you go. A midfield four of Mount, Conte, Lingard, and Foden, Antonio and Bamford up top. That's a very attack-minded side, that is for sure, Luke. But yeah, as you said, Champions League winners in the future. You reckon if all of these were put together with Big David Moyes as the manager, anything could happen? Yeah,
did win it all. Did win Wimbledon, did win WrestleMania, did win everything. You name it, did win it. That's funny. I've got it all up here. This is why I should get me on Irons United a little bit more, but I'm not always available, I suppose. So they can't be helped. But yeah, no, it's it's my team. But got to have 3 West Ham boys in the arena, especially we've had. So fantastic.
There we go. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, hit the notification bell as well. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Go and subscribe to West Ham United as well. I'll whack some links in the description. And Luke, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate. Thank you. Cheers. And like you said, Jake, you're going places, mate. You're doing really well for someone of your age and your experience. So just do us a favour when you go on Anton and go on Lions United again. Just make sure you give them a bit more banter because I think they deserve it. To be fair, the stick they give you all the time. You know what I mean? So don't worry about it. But thank you for having me on, mate. I've been on here before. Me and you talked about it for a little while now, and this is finally my first time on my Ham Unofficial. Very very professional. A lot more professional than Still and Anton is. It's a lot more rehearsed, and the way you deliver what you're going to say is very professional as well. And so fair play to you, mate. And thank you very much for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Actually, it's an honour. Not just a pleasure, an honour.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sure in the future I'll be approached to do the West Ham Weekly, and I'll say no. I'll be all right.
Exactly.
I'll be all right.
Stelios can do that with his 1,000 comments he's got to read out and not even get through what he wants to read.
Yeah. He's got his notepad wrote down, and then he goes for it, and he goes, "That's the show." So we'll wrap things up. It's a
5-minute show. It's a 5-minute show. What happens is he starts to read through the comments. He goes, "Oh, I've missed about 4,000 because I pressed the wrong button with my old fingers." That's what he does. He's gonna kill me after this if he watches this. Poor old boy.
I'll make sure they both watch it. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll cut this short now just in case I get killed anymore.
Yeah.
Up the others.
Up the others. And we'll be back very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.